This past Sunday was the Grammys, which of course I did not watch, but as somebody who consumes social media, I saw Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion trending, so I could only assume it would be for their performance of their hit song WAP, WAP, which stands for Wet Ass Pussy, for those of you who don't know. Yes, it's important. We aim to inform first, guys. We aim to inform first. We aim to inform first. Anyway, as the performance was going on, I didn't see it. I'm sure it was quite scandalous. The SEC was flooded with complaints about clothing and sexual activity, to the point where the complaints made Fox News, which Cardi B was excited about. Cardi B's excitement in making Fox News stoked the ire of everyone's favorite black champion, Candace Owens, who felt she needed to school Cardi B on both the message that she was transmitting and her kind of sort of, I guess, for lack of a better term, shamelessness. Although the question that this obviously evokes is, what should anybody be ashamed of? We actually had this conversation months back, kind of sort of in the middle of the pandemic when we took a reprieve. And so it's very interesting. Most black people don't fuck with Candace Owens, but a lot of them echoed her arguments in like this back and forth Twitter battle. And I'm not sure if it's separated by sex as much as it's separated by age. Like older people are like, I don't know about this, and younger people are like it's whatever. Is it okay to rhyme about, dance, glorify your wet ass pussy? Cardi B actually said it best. She was like, I love my pussy, and rhyming about it doesn't hurt anyone. She has a great way of putting simple things, and it's like very true. Like I tend to agree with that, but we're talking about the community at large, no, because it's mainly white, right, and overwhelmingly male centered. But even within the black community, like we tend to lean conservative. There's a church element, and the whole pole dancing and dollars. Like I was reading the responses, there were some very conservative like responses from people who you wouldn't expect them to be coming from. This actually happened again the last conversation we had with one of our friends who was like, I never would have cared about this, but now I have a daughter, like I kind of do care about it. So what do we think?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can always turn the TV off. You can always turn the TV off, or you can say, hey, this is not what I want you to do. You can take that as, if this is not something that you want your child to emulate, tell them. There are so many options other than like getting upset. But I mean, people always project their anger on to celebrities. It's a common thing. And people who are up in arms, it's like, okay.
It's the classic.
I'm wondering about the men who've made comments. Like, because if you frequented a strip club, come on, hush. Older people, wasn't there a song that came out ages ago? I don't know, 40s, 50s or whatever, called My Ding-a-Ling? It's very clear that it was not about a bell. So, like,
they have a club mix.
I know we were going there.
Yeah. They made a joke about it on The Simpsons. I remember cracking up about it, and my friend
some old singer
like,
from
oh, it's a real song. I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah,
like the wet ass pussy song of her day. I wish I could remember the name, but it was like a vulgar ass song.
That one was very vulgar. I heard
you know what I'm talking about?
My.
Damn, I wish I could remember her name, but it was like the 30s.
Yeah. I heard part of it, and I was like, yikes. So this is nothing new.
It's not gonna come to me. I'm
I don't know. I think people are, it's always going to be a thing that people are going to get upset about because, policing women's bodies has always been a thing and always will be, I think.
And they're both black, so get frowned upon even harder.
Especially black women. I'm sure there are things that are comparable that have happened that maybe men have done, at least with what they rap about. I mean, men probably aren't like undulating on the stage as much, but what they rap about, sing about, country music isn't always, like, it's just, I don't get it. I think people are just looking for reasons to be angry. Like, just raise your kids.
So what I would say,
raise your kids and don't let media raise your kids.
Exactly.
And so that's actually tougher nowadays, though, right?
That's what people don't want to admit.
Yeah, that's super tougher nowadays, though, right? We're literally raising our kids on media and screens.
Right.
Yeah. And, I mean, and I understand because it's tough for parents, but like we live in a world where a kid could effortlessly get on a phone and find porn.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be upset about what was on the Grammys? Are you just as upset about that? Are you asking for these sites that have porn to be shut down? No.
So I think
I wonder.
Go ahead.
But the porn site goes, there's some actual searching in that. This is like prime time that argument,
Well, what time is the Grammys on? Because I'm sorry, if it was on at 10 o'clock, why is your little butt up? Sorry, that's me. If I have a child, go to bed.
Right. Hey, I know women who fucking kids be up till 3 a.m. I'm waiting trying to get some WAP, and these fucking kids won't go to sleep.
But that's a parenting issue. That's not because of Megan and Cardi. That's because why are your kids up at 3? Come on.
Yeah. Also, I wonder if, like you guys were saying, that because it's if it's in the Grammys, it's kind of mainstream, it's normalized. So I wonder if folks then wonder, is my daughter or son going to see this and think that this is what they should be doing? But you guys are right. I mean, obviously, it's a slippery slope. I mean, being a very new parent, I think you were talking about Chisholm earlier, kind of having a daughter, that changes some things for him. I mean, very new parent. I have a 4-month-old, but I'm already kind of thinking about for her, right, when she's a teenager and she's consuming things, how might that impact her? And I think in terms of the parenting, you guys are right. I think that teenagers and people in general consume so much media that parents only have but so much control over what they're really, going to do, and how they can really, I think, kind of filter what's going on with their sons and daughters. So I think it's a very murky topic. You're right. I think that on one hand, no laws are broken. Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, right? I mean, it's a form of musical expression, right? They're talented artists, right? Like this is their craft, this is their art. They didn't do anything wrong. But on the other hand, I think it's subjective, right? Well, if my daughter sees this, what might she think? Is she going to think it's okay to do X, Y, Z? And so I think it is a difficult topic that I think it does boil down to, right? What conversations can we have with not even necessarily young people, but people in general about what they're seeing and what are you internalizing, how are you interpreting this?
And as you looked over the that's what it ended up being. There were broad like social themes here, like, and there were questions. I was like, these are actually questions we can pose. Like, what does it mean to be ladylike? Is that a thing? Is that antiquated like thinking? Is that sexist, like male-centered thinking? Or is there such a thing as quote unquote acting like a lady? And does Cardi B and Megan's WAP performance, does it fall into that? Maybe it does. It seems to me they're saying that it's confident self-expression, which I actually buy. But I also know that when it comes to these types of things, I tend to be more left than most people. So when people are offended by things, I tend not to be. But I can certainly understand that, to you guys' porn commentary, like, I turned to CBS at Sunday nights in order to be ensured that I wouldn't be looking at some porn type of thing. And I didn't get that. I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Not me. I didn't watch any of it. I don't really watch award shows, but I think that's what the conversation was.
Well, who are people angry at? Are they angry at the Grammys who approved this? Mm-hmm. And of course, they knew that.
No, they're mad at the black women.
So I don't know what this look like.
Yeah,
what did you expect that to look like on stage?
Yeah.
Right. This song is entitled "Wet Ass Pussy."
Right. What did you expect? You thought this is
good viewing for your kids to watch the performance of WAP. Like, I'm just wondering.
It's the classic. It's like the beginning of
Brother
Baby
Noah
Got Back.
prefaced it.
It's that classic hate at the beginning of the Baby Got Back. Like, ew, look at them fucking butts. It's like disgusting. Like that thing shit.
Well, Brother Noah prefaced it, right? He
And now
prefaced
they're
it.
trying to get it. And they're all trying to get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like part of the ladylike shit, it's levels to it. A lot of it emanates from, what society tries to put women in body control behavior and shit.
Yeah.
And I guess bucking against it, that's women taking some autonomy, for themselves. But at the same time, like certain behaviors, I mean, there's always like, I believe shame is there for a reason. You know what I mean? It serves a purpose. You know what I mean? Like certain shit is, well, I'm not saying what they do is.
That was Candy Owens'
level.
argument.
I'm not saying what that goes to that level, what they do, but I'm just saying, there's some shit that I feel that shouldn't be done.
Shame can be valuable.
Public, yeah.
All races should be shamed. You know what I mean? Like when it's extreme like that,
Yeah.
I guess, and going back to it, for those of us, even if we don't have daughters, we have sisters, mothers, friends, or whatever. I think as men, they elicit certain kind of feelings, like if my mother or sister or wife or whatever were on stage, dancing like that. But as women, do you all feel any kind of way? Because unsurprisingly, most of the most fiercest pushback against it were from like women, like who were like, "This is not how I want my daughters to be," or whatever.
I think
But only men were like, eh.
And it's like everybody, it runs a full spectrum, I mean, there's women who aren't comfortable with that shit at all, and women who live for that shit,
Quasi, earlier you made it a point of like, the performance versus like the perspective of, I guess, how did you phrase it? Like kind of church going.
Yeah.
About women.
In the church though. Oh my God, they be probably. Oh, never mind.
What you say, Sean?
Why are you comparing?
There's some freaks in church, man. I don't know. It's
right, but I do understand that there's a group of women, there are women in, not a group, but there are women in this world who believe that, well, the reason I'm by myself is because all of that out there.
I think the church,
it would be easier for me.
With all that.
I'm here and I'm being pious and I'm doing all the right things and I'm a good Christian woman and I'm still single because of that.
Yeah.
I think there's a group of women probably who feel that way. And then there's probably women who have, internalized misogyny and really believe like, no, a woman should not be doing those things. And I disapprove. There's probably a bunch of
who also probably like to engage in those things with women.
But it's like it shouldn't be seen. It should be done in private. Like a lot of women feel like that's too much. It should only be private.
That's the church crowds that like there should be a clear delineation between that shit. Yeah. Like you should be a freak in the streets. You're a freak at home or what? What is the fuck is that?
And it's like if that's your choice, that's fine. But if that's her choice, you should be okay with that too. I know the difficulty comes in like when it comes to children and the potential of them seeing that, but that is a part of being a parent. There's always going to be a bunch of stuff that you don't necessarily want your children to be exposed to, but it's life. It's going to happen. So it's like you got to either do what you can to shield them and also do what you can to have a conversation with them about what they saw, even if the conversation is turn that off.
And you got the old.
I mean, it could be anything.
You got the old, well-respected church elder lady who's got like 9 kids and 20 grandkids. She been fucking. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Mention, what was she doing before she became the deaconess or the mother of church or whatever? Like,
it's life.
And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see women that I knew and I know what they were like once upon a time. And little by little, they're becoming more and more Christian and more Christian and very active in the church. And now they're just kind of pretending like what they did in the past didn't happen. But it's like, you can't do that. If you were doing something similar at that age, come on.
You can't be brand new with it. It's like,
don't get brand new just because you got your nice church hat and you've read the Bible more. Right. And honestly, I feel like sometimes a lot of those people. Maybe I should stop.
Church people.
No,
Are you triggered?
no, because
No, I'm not triggered, but I do notice that sometimes
Right.
the people who go hard, like the hardest when it comes to church, sometimes we're going the hardest in their other life.
Yeah.
So they're trying to balance it
They,
out.
they've done everything and tried everything so they can go tell other people not to. Like, you've lived your life to the
I've
fullest.
done it all. Maybe
Don't get it.
Let me go be judgmental.
Get a bucket and a mop for this.
I think Walter had brought up a good point earlier. It was a different context. He was talking about kind of people changing and maturing as they get older. So maybe, when we're 16 or 18 versus when we're 35. So I think there can be that progression of, how we looked at things when we were younger, right? If we were the viewing audience right now for that, we may look at it a certain way versus some of the adults. I know even for myself, I mean, back when I was that age, I was down at the Tunnel and down at Hammer Jacks and doing all that stuff, listening to club music. And now that I'm a little bit older, I have a different perspective on some of those things and what I what I may say to an offspring of mine who does some of those same things. So I think it definitely is kind of I think our perspective does change, whether it's younger to older or kind of when we have different life experiences.
Yeah, it gets skewed. I always try to look at it through the lens of what myself at that age before I judge people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somebody who, I've always been like a cornball in a square. I'm the last person who was doing the most when I was younger, but I still see that as my choice.
Yeah.
So when I look at people who are younger and doing things that I never would have done, I'm like, okay, well, I was just different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's still, but I don't know. It is like Kharod said, it can be a murky, complicated topic, especially when you do factor in how things change and your perspective on life when you get older and become a parent, or just things change in life. But overall, it's like, okay, these are all personal issues, and getting upset with Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and whoever, like, to me, that seems like you're projecting your concerns onto another person that you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know these people, but you're making them responsible for.
Yeah, and if there's someone you are directly responsible for, like your child, it's hard conversations, but there's ways you can handle that. You know what I mean?
Parent, you are the parent. It is your responsibility. It is your right to step in whenever you see that there's an issue. Like, yeah, if I'm watching, if I catch my 5-year-old watching the Grammys and singing, I'm gonna be hot.
That's where I was.
Autumn.
Sure.
Like,
That's where I was gonna go with everybody.
Like, we're gonna do some things to do some.
And it'll hit some of you. Well, actually, only one of us who has a child. It actually one of us like reality, but that's where I was gonna go with the hypothetical. Do we want, if let's say we all had daughters, do we want them celebrating their WAP?
So
That's fine. I mean, not little kids.
Not if she's young, like, depending on how young. No.
You don't have fucking WAP that young, right? You don't get WAP
exactly.
well into your.
Say I have like an 18-year-old.
Like, you're not fucking as a kid. I don't know.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. But like, yeah, say I have like a teenage daughter. Am I going to be thrilled about it? Of course not. But I'm still going to talk to her and have conversations and make sure that, she knows how to be responsible.
Why wouldn't you be thrilled about it?
And the types of attention it can attract. You know
right.
what I mean?
And,
let them know what the deal could be.
To, doing certain things. I wouldn't be thrilled because I just, and this is just my opinion, that like, there are so many things that are more valuable than physical appearance. But that's just how I think. There are some women who are like, I love my body and I want to celebrate it and I want to celebrate everything about it. And if I end up having a daughter who did that, I'd be like, this is what she want to do. She grown. I can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. With the media consumption, like they're gonna come to the realization that a fat ass will make you money and get you attention. You know what I mean? And if they, it's a choice once they get that age or get old enough. That they all have to force with.
It depends on the type of child. I saw so many things when I was a child that I probably had no business seeing. I didn't decide that I was gonna go out and, you know, do whatever. Let me listen for a perfect example. I listen to a lot of hip hop. A whole lot of hip hop. And I know this listening to certain hip hop made women want to be what those men wanted. I took it the other direction and was like, ooh, I don't want to be the woman they're talking about. So I am definitely not going to do any of those things. So it just depends on the kind of kid you have. And you just got to, I mean, being a parent, it's like, from what I hear, you just got to take it as it comes and do the best you can with whatever's presented to you at that time. And I think, you know, sometimes the option is just turn stuff off. You don't want your kids to see it or hear it. And it's going to be hard. You're not going to get all of it. You're not going to be able to shield them from everything. But
there's no way you can shield them from it. Like,
yeah.
It's impossible.
Well, that's why parents
Remember,
like talk to their kids about sex.
That's what I'm saying. Put it all out on the table.
What sex is to their kids?
Bad.
It should be a conversation they already had.
Right. That's I guess that's my point of the whole thing is our generation is 180 degrees different than what's going on now because everything is instantly available now. Right? Everybody has a handheld device and they can find it. You only watch it on TV, great, I watch it on my phone. Sure. Like you guys are just saying, talk to your kids and don't you don't have to necessarily make rules, but you gotta give them the information so they can make an intelligent decision.
Yeah, they need to know what's out there, good and bad.
Like I just did a webinar with kids maybe a couple weeks ago, a ballet troupe, all girls, and they're more worried about how they look compared to the girls on Instagram. That shit's not real. Tell them it ain't real. And the same thing applies. Yes, is that what she's thinking about? Yes. Is she making millions of dollars from her showing people her ass? Well, great for her. Is that the life?
Also show them the consequences.
Exactly.
It's not all happy times for her.
It's all fake.
Struggling, so is it working?
Yeah, there's some positivity that you get, positive attention that you get from doing that shit, and there's a lot of negative attention.
Mm-hmm. And if you can handle it, you know, then that's one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's not built.
Not everyone's built to handle that.
That's right.
Definitely the case.
Very well said, everybody. I stopped